So we're going to talk about Ben Needham, who's also in the media right now. The updates on this, which is missing Ben Needham's mum pushes new theory on son's disappearance ahead of DNA test. Now, thank you everyone who said they appreciate me. I don't know why. Yeah, thank you, Mel. I said beforehand, I don't want any talk of politics. I think everyone knows and it's clear what's going on in this case, but at the same time, I just want it to be about Noah. Ben Needham is one of those cases. I don't think he's dead. And I just can't get over that. I've never believed that Ben Needham was killed. I don't believe he's dead. I don't know how other people feel about this case. I believe he's still out there. Thank you, Julie. Thank you, everyone, for all the help with the gift goal. I honestly do not believe that Ben Needham has died. His mum doesn't believe he's dead either. And because his mum doesn't believe she's dead, Kerry, I believe it. Because I believe that a mother's intuition is the best thing we can listen to in true crime. Where it works way more than obviously police intuition. And I believe, Kerry says, if he was dead, I would, 35 years, no one. If he was dead, I would know. I would feel that cut off. I've never felt it. I've always known he's out there. And I listen to that. Like, you need to wise up. Thank you, Barbara Cunningham. Your dog's trying to run away from you in that picture, and I see why. I understand that if anyone knows their children, thank you, Megan, it's their mums. Ah, thanks, Meg, so much. It's their mums that know their children. And if she feels like he's still alive, who am I to go against that? Thank you, Karen. Now, the recent theory that came out in the early 2000s, I think 2012, I think it came out, which was that the digger driver who was working on, I'll address that in a minute, Jenna. So he was working on a property locally and they think he run him over on the digger and then he buried Ben's body. There is no evidence of that, none. No evidence that that actually happened. And Kerry believes that that didn't happen. She goes, there's no reason for people to believe that. I'm so fed up of people listening to that. Like, that's not what happened. And that's why people stopped looking for him, because they believe that happened. She believes that due to what was going on locally in that area, due to obviously some things she doesn't want to talk about. Thank you, Andreen. She believes it was a gypsy family from Roma who she believes kidnapped Ben and trafficked him for an adoption. She believes that he's been adopted into a family. Now, when people say, why wouldn't he come forward? Because he was this age when he was taken, he wouldn't remember. You don't remember much before you're 3. And if you have a family that you've always lived in, you would have no need to remember. If Madeleine McCann is being raised by another family, which I don't think she is, unfortunately, she wouldn't remember Kate and Jerry. It's very easy to manipulate a child's brain. I'm going to tell you that in a minute. People don't go ahead. We'll just talk about this case and then we will talk about who they're testing. He was a toddler. Like, you would have no idea. Now, there is a new man that's come forward. His girlfriend contacted Kerry, the mum. We don't know too much about him right now. Kerry says she hasn't even seen a picture of this man. He's come forward. He says, I believe I'm Ben Needham. I don't remember anything in my childhood. I think something very bizarre happened. I can't answer any of these questions. I don't have any pictures of me of a baby. And he has contacted the Greek police. They are DNA testing him to see if he is. He took us up to see if he is Ben Needham. Kerry has been through this so many times. And we can only pray. We can only pray that. So, when people say, why is it strange? That star said, why do people victim blame and shame? I couldn't agree more. Like, why do we always look to blame victims or victims' mothers and go, but why didn't she hear him go out of the house? Why hasn't Ben come forward? Like, why do we always look to put it on the people that have no ability to do those things? Like, if Ben was, like, 2 when he was taken under 2, he was, like, how would he know, like, where he was from? Like, he would have no idea. Thank you, Brixie. Same as with the Fiona, like, unless she sat outside Noah's door like this with the binoculars every single night, like, how would she know if he just quickly went past the toilet, out the front door and then came back in? How would she have any idea? It's all, hey Louis, we can all say, like, we're the perfect parent. Like, someone messaged me yesterday when I put that video up about Roblox, about the 2 young sisters that were groomed out of their house by a man, 16 and 10, ended up 700 miles away in Mexico. The woman messaged me and said, I would never let my kids play Roblox. you should call out all parents that do. My 9-year-old daughter only plays Call of Duty. I was like, if you're off your fucking head, young lady. Like, what are you even saying? I don't let my kid play with knives. I bought her a gun instead. Like, what the fuck? Like, well done you. She's 9. My kids don't even know what Call of Duty... Like, it was literally like... Do you know what I mean? I don't let my kids play with plug sockets with wet hair, but I do with wet hands. But I do let them play with toasters in the bath. It's the same thing. Equally as dangerous. Do you know what I mean? But you actually sent me a message to go call out their parents. You should be telling all parents whose kids use Roblox how wrong they are. My 9-year-old daughter only plays Call of Duty because I watch what she does. Okay, so when she's carjacking people, you can just go, at least you're not being groomed. Do you know what I mean? You can still talk to people. COD is 18 plus, you nut job. And I literally just wrote back. I literally just wrote back and said, seriously, question your life decisions before messaging me. Oh, I need to blow my nose. All the kids are poorly again. Tori's finally gone up to school with a cough. Now I'm feeling poorly this morning. I don't understand, Amy. Like, I put up the videos for awareness, for instance, about the Roblox situation because not all parents know what's going on. Now, a lot of people are working. They've got several different kids. Roblox has changed as well, by the way. Some of the settings have changed. It's got worse. We've got several families and states, by the way, whole states in America taking Roblox to court because Roblox at the moment are protecting paedophiles and blocking people from the site that are hunting for the paedophiles or calling them out. And they're saying they've constantly done this. Why did the fella contact Kerry instead of doing a DNA ancestry? Again, he saw an appeal by a mum looking for her son and decided to contact her. We don't know if he has done ancestry and something weird's come back. We don't know the situation because we've got very limited details. So the only thing we've got on this new thing is, so Kerry Needham has never given up hope. Her missing son Ben is still alive. He'll come home. He went missing almost 35 years ago on the Greek holiday island of Kos. And his mum has revealed how an email out of the blue could shed fresh light on a case and why she believed he was a victim of gypsy trafficking gangs. So the Roblox post is on my big account. I'm on my backup because I've got banned for a couple of days on my main. My main account is just called Comic Crime. I think it's got nearly 300,000 followers. It's on there. Just so I'm not boasting about the followers, just so you can find it. I mean, so she believes he was a victim of gypsy trafficking gangs who illegally sold him for sale, for adoption. Sorry, sold him for sale, sold him for adoption. Now, one of the things I've never got over in this case is, which isn't really widely known, but there was a local shop owner from the gypsy community who owned a shop near where Ben went missing from, and they knew Fiona because she. I keep saying Fiona because I was doing the last case. Kerry, sorry. They knew Kerry and her family who had just moved to the area because they would go to this local shop. Now, during the time that Ben went missing, this lady from the local shop acted as a translator in the media. So she would go to interviews with Kerry. She would be the translator and she would help the family. Now, it came back later on that local reports placed this woman and 2 men in a car behind the farmhouse at the time Ben went missing. So we have this woman from the local shop who knows the family, had seen Ben several times, parked near the farmhouse with 2 men around the time Ben goes missing. So get that. So after this come out, years after the fact, like 20 years after Ben went missing, Kerry decides to go with her daughter, Ben's sister, who never got to meet him because she wasn't born. She goes back to Kos to see this lady because she wants to ask this lady, what did you see that day? She doesn't think anything suspicious at the time. She just thinks this woman may have seen something. She goes back. As soon as she goes into the shop, this lady starts screaming, "Get out of my shop, get out of my shop." Her daughter, who speaks English, comes out and says, "Get the fuck out of our shop. Don't ever come near my mum again. Go, go." And starts threatening Ben's mum and Ben's sister. Now, why are you threatening this woman? You were a translator for her in this missing persons report. Why aren't you wanting to, like, oh, we haven't seen you for 30 years. Like, did you ever find Ben? Why are you excited to see her? You instantly start threatening her. You're parked near the house. You have connections to the gypsy community. You literally could have taken Ben to order. This little beautiful boy with the blonde hair. Thank you, Martine. You literally could have taken him to order. We know at the time he's a beautiful little boy. We absolutely can be sure that somebody may have kidnapped him to order. Now you have this woman who is acting suspiciously around this time and was parked around the back of the... This, to me, makes so much sense. Blonde hair, blue eyes. A child that in certain communities would have been worth a lot of money. Now, I think he may have been stolen to order for parents who couldn't have children. I'm praying for the best possible outcome, and the best possible outcome obviously would be he was raised by his mum. But if he's still alive and he's been raised and he's not been hurt or sexually abused, that's the best we can hope for, right? And I'm praying for this. I'm sure everyone's praying for this. So Kerry, who is speaking from where she's moved to a home in Antalya in Germany, Turkey. I can't speak today. Antalya in Turkey, where she relocated 2 years ago, said she had this new tip-off. A woman has emailed her, convinced her boyfriend could well be Ben, who would have turned 36 in October last year. So, he was so young when he was taken. I keep a very open mind, mum of two, Kerry said. When I got that email, I didn't jump for joy and think this could be him because I've got no photograph, very little information, and I've got my hopes up so many times before. The woman just said there are a lot of coincidences, a lot of things that don't add up. Trump probably knows where a lot of missing kids are. Kerry has forwarded her correspondence to the South Yorkshire Police because she believes in them more than the police in cost at the moment. And she's asked them to DNA test this new man. She said that, obviously, Benny went missing in 1991. She said it's the case of getting more information out of that person without being too cold, but without being too involved either. And I understand this for Kerry. Like, we remember the last boy last year who seemed really hopeful, who his adult picture apparently looked a lot like how Ben would have looked with his age progression photo. She got her hope up so much and then nothing. Ben's case should be as widely known and as high profile as Madeleine McCann. Both very similar circumstances, abroad, families. The only difference is Ben's mum was young, wasn't extremely educated, was from a poorer family, a working class Sheffield family, and the McCanns were doctors with a lot of money. The way they spoke about Kerry was disgusting. The way they said that she was a young mum, unwed mum, probably didn't want a kid, was at work that day instead of raising him, so selfish. She was working to provide a better life for her son, to put food on the table. They literally called her young, dumb. They said she probably killed him. She probably didn't want him. He was holding her back. She wanted a party lifestyle cost. They just made up shit. And the way they spoke about the things they kind of posted, the police questioned her. She had a mental breakdown at one point. She was falling apart. From everything I've seen, for every day of her life, she has fought just as hard as people like Fiona. She just doesn't have the money of the McCanns. The payments ploughed into it. And who knows, if Ben had the amount of media coverage and the attention and the money that Madeleine McCann case had, maybe he would have been found. There's also been many sightings over the years of like places in Greece where like a boy's been working at a market store and people have said, I swear it's Ben. Like, I swear this was Ben. I looked at him. He didn't look like his family. All of those things. Like, I believe Ben's out there. I want to do a quick poll. I just want to see how people feel. Like, not even to be morbid, but put a smiley face if you think Ben is possibly still alive and can be found, and put a crying face if you think, now 35 years is too long. Something happened here. Because I believe he's one of those missing persons posts that I don't feel that it's resolved. I don't feel like this is just really sad. And obviously we can't know. It could have been completely different. But I just believe he could be alive. You have to think, like, there are two main reasons, right, to take a child. Sick purposes, and I'm not going to go further than that when I've got a picture of a kid on screen. Sick purposes, or because we can't have children. Now, these days, you can't just kidnap a child and start raising one or fake a pregnancy because we've got DNA, we've got forensics, we've got the internet. Like, you're not going to get away with it. Back then, thank you, Yaz, you reached level gift to 25. Thank you so much. Back then, you didn't even use the same. You didn't even need the same ID to get on a plane. Like, there was a little blonde-haired boy that matched Ben's description, sitting at the airport with two parents, a mum and a dad that night. And the woman at the airport said he didn't look like his parents, but I didn't question it. But because they didn't have flight logs back then or of who was getting on what, they don't know who it was. And they didn't come forward 2 years later And they said, I tried to give this tip to the police. They didn't seem interested. So there's loads of ways where he could have left and it could have been that little boy. We've had prisoners come forward before and say to Kerry, like, your son was kidnapped. He's in the gypsy area in the city. He was taken for adoption. She's gone there. Then he's pulled out of the tip. There's so much around this connection that I just want to believe that that's true. And at some point Kerry is gonna have those answers. She was such a young mum at the time. Can we try and work on the gift card if people don't mind? We know that she was really young at the time that he went missing. And we know that everything else has kind of been looked into. I do think he's alive. Let's see what she says. Thank you, Pippin. It says, referring to the idea Ben was kidnapped, Kerry said, I don't know when it dawned on us, because we're not stupid. Abduction and kidnappings, they happen in film. We didn't really consider that. We were thinking, why would anyone want to abduct Ben? We didn't have money for a ransom. So we thought it couldn't be a kidnapping, because kidnappings are for ransom, right? She said it's only been in the last kind of 10, 15 years where they started thinking, like, some people kidnap because they want a child. Some people kidnap because they aren't well. Before that, we didn't consider that. She said people began coming forward, including a Greek man who contacted Ben's grandfather, Eddie. He told my dad, you need to be looking at gypsies because there's a line over there who take kids and sell them for illegal adoption. They don't call it trafficking, but that's what it is. She added, the stranger said Ben, thank you, Gillian. Then the stranger said Ben being a blonde-haired and blue-eyed would mean he'd fetch more money. Thank you, Sarah. Thank you, Stephanie. Him being blonde-haired and blue-eyed means he would fetch a lot of money. Thank you, Pippin. It sounded impossible, but that's when we started looking. Oh, thank you so much. Thank you, Sarah, as well. It sounded impossible when we started looking down those lines. And you've got to think, people in certain communities, and this is no offence to the gypsy community, in all communities we look after our own. We do. We close down, we look the other way, we look after our own, whether it comes to a race issue, a community issue, a religious issue, no matter what, we tend to look after our own. There is every reason to believe that official Chris Live, get that prick out of my live, you're a racist prick, get him out. Don't come into my lives. You come in every live I go into on different accounts when you get blocked. You're a wrong one. Yeah. However, years later, two ex-COS police officers would allegedly later claim to journalists that they had been given information that Ben was taken off the island quickly via a report after his disappearance, but they never put it into the paperwork. So just to go through the timeline of kind of Ben and what happened. So he was taken on July the 24th, 1991. He vanishes while playing near the grounds of a farmhouse in the region of Kos, which his family are renovating. So his family from Sheffield have moved over to the island. They believe that, I'm going to go through that, Jen. So they believe that it's a better way of life. It's the sunshine that they buy this little farmhouse. It was very cheap over there. Yes, you can add my YouTube channel, which is Hayley_Comet_crime. Yeah. It's on my story on my main account, Comic Crime. I put it on the story, the YouTube that you can go follow, and I'll give it you in a minute again. Or one of the mods, can you pin my new YouTube? So he's literally outside of the farmhouse. He's playing. They will be added today from last night's live, and we will do a couple of the back lives from last week. So Kerry Needham and his grandparents, his mum, his grandparents, and his uncle are over there. They contact the police. Nothing really happens instantly. It's just like he's vanished off the face of the earth. In July 26, 1991, eyewitness report claiming a boy matching Ben's description was at a local airport on the day he disappeared. And I just talked to you about that, guys. And that boy has never been traced. This little boy on the same day went missing, who's at the airport with two adults. Parents look not like their child. On September 1991, the Needham's family returned to England because they just are heartbroken. They've got no money left and they cannot stay there because they feel like no one's helping them. And they realise coming back to the UK, yeah, of course, screenshot away. They realise that they're just not getting anywhere, and they believe that maybe coming back over to the UK amongst their own people may help further Ben's, like, kind of campaign. Sorry. In June of 2003, the Metropolitan Police issue an image of what Ben may look like at age 12 to 14. In 2004, an anonymous businessman offers a reward of £500,000, £500,000, for Ben's safe return. October 2010, another public appeal was made by Ben's mother in the run-up to what would have been his 21st birthday. On May of 2011, the BBC airs a programme called Missing 2011, which includes a piece on Ben's story and a campaign to find him. In September of 2011, Greek police on Kos officially reopened the case and granted the family a face-to-face meeting with the island prosecutor. Imagine granting them that after all that years. October 2012, South Yorkshire Police in Kos begin digging up the mounds around the property where Ben went missing. Thank you so much. Thank you, Holly. On December 2013, Ben's mother accuses the Prime Minister, David Cameron, of not giving her case the same as what they were giving Madeleine McCann's case. It comes after a dossier is produced which contains reports of 8 witnesses, none of who knew each other, who all saw a boy matching Ben's description, thank you, Karen, with the same Greek family. Now imagine that. This secret dossier has been kept by investigators for years, doesn't come out till 2013, he went missing in 1994, saying, first time I seen a crack, yeah, Trails and Tales. First time I seen your profile picture, and I'm wondering why you look like Rick Waller, but I'm not going on about it. It's not the first time you've seen me before, because you were a cunt on my other profile, just going to say. Sorry, guys. She's absolutely annoying. Sorry. Yeah, so this report that comes forward, it includes 8 witnesses that don't know each other, by the way. They all say they've seen this Greek family with this little boy that looks like Ben. How can 8 families that aren't even related have seen the same, but not... Oh yeah, but I shouldn't use the C word. My mum would go mad. I just had enough of the online hate on here when we're literally just talking about a missing little boy. It just seems unwarranted. There's people on this TikTok doing the worst stuff. People on here hurting animals, hurting children. There's paedophiles on this app. There's people that beat women. And I'm literally talking about a missing child, two children today, and they come in and they just say the most weirdest stuff. There's a news report here, what we're talking about. Like, I'm not hiding it. I know, Star. It just annoys me when I just want to do true crime. I just want to help these people. So in December 2014, lawyers representing Ben's family say they may take legal action to try and force the government to make a decision and help. Thank you, Halibot. And this is a family who fought constantly. They UK were kind of like, it's not our problem, he went missing in Kos. The Kos government are kind of like, well, he's not one of ours. And they've just had to fight and fight. In March, April of 2015, 3 generations of Ben Needham's family travelled to Greece. So it's his sister, his mum, morning Hayley, his mum and his grandmother. They travel to Greece to follow a strong lead that a man living there believes he may be Ben Needham. But due to having no photographs of himself under the age of 2 and no knowledge of where he was born, but the man is later ruled out by DNA. I love that little one, the little fungi. It's not mushroom in here. I wonder if Brigham gets loads of them. I'm only joking. May 2015, Ben's family make a fresh appeal on Greek television for disappearance for information regarding his disappearance. May 2016, the Sun newspaper drop an article that says the police who were involved in the operation in charge of finding Ben went on an 8-hour booze up in Kos during the whole investigation in the first week. So these police officers are getting pissed for 8 hours when they're supposed to be out searching for this little boy. September 2016, Ben's family are told to prepare for the worst by investigators, morning eagerly, when they say that they believe the 21-month-old was crushed to death by a digger, the driver who died in 2015, and they go to Kos to begin excavation work around that area because they believe that this man who was digging for Ben, digging the property up, run over Ben, and then decided to hide his body because he didn't want to admit that he'd killed a kid. And they believed that Ben had run from where the farmhouse was, just down the road to where they were digging, and it had been some kind of accident. So at this point, the confession on his deathbed was one of his friends who knew him said this man said that. There seems to be not a lot of evidence around it. It is definitely something where, thank you, Amy. It seems to be something where his parents don't believe this confession, and they say, like, but you dug up that whole area. you dug up that whole area like you didn't find anything. We know they found a car there, which later they managed to prove wasn't Ben's. They found shoes there, little shoes that we believe were Ben's, but the DNA proved they weren't. So it's kind of like there's no real evidence for it, but it could be word of mouth. I always believe when that lead first came out, due to the scale of the latest, the police going out and doing the massive dig, I thought they must have a lot of reason to fully believe that, because they put thousands of pounds into that dig, but they just found nothing. Again, it was just another dead end. So they go out and do this dig. This happens in 2017 and 2016. So in 2016, they begin this excavation work. On the penultimate day of the 3-day search at the 2 locations, which is one near the farmhouse, 2 near a landfill site, an item which is believed to have belonged to Ben is discovered. On October the 16th, 2016, after digging up more than 800 tonnes of soil, the excavation work comes to an end, with any items of interest sent back to the UK for forensic. On October the 17th, 2016, South Yorkshire Police announced the discovery of an item that backs up a theory that Ben died in this way at the accident. Lucy Letby I'll talk about in a second. July the 24th, 2017, it emerges blood was found on a sandal with a toy car belonging to Ben. The sandal was found in 2012 at the site where Constantino Barkas, the digger driver, was digging. Forensic experts say the toy car found does not belong to Ben. And then we're at this point now where police probe, 2021, police probe the blonde boy was found crying on a beach wearing a white t-shirt, crying desperately and speaking English. And he was in Corfu. And it was just after Ben had gone missing. They believe this could have been Ben. So we're at this point now where the family have fought for ages. And, the digger incidents could be absolutely true. But I think maybe for Kerry, I imagine this is the case, that until you show me my son's body, I can't believe anything. Like, I just need to keep that hope. And who could blame her? So I think we just have to wait with that and just see. I know the internet was raving yesterday. Thank you, Cyrus. The internet was raving with this new DNA test. I don't tend to put a lot of stock into it because we've seen this so many times with Ben, and I know for Kerry, like, she gets her hopes up, and now she said, like, I just stay cold and pass it to the police because I can't spend any longer thinking that he's coming home. It must be heartbreaking, man.